Hey guys, and welcome back to another Triple D Lockdown deck profile. Today what we're going to be covering is the Calamities combo. Now a lot of people have seen this in the kind of regards to Halqifibrax, but as I said and shown previously, I'm not that much of a fan of Halqifibrax in of itself. Again, I've got no disrespect for the cards. I think it's a great card. And there are a lot of broken combos that you can pull out from it, but in reality, that's not what we're going for. We wanna do something that's more kind of our own combo, our own kind of adaptation to the DDD deck. And so what we've got today is just basically that. Now we are going to be starting off with the three key cards. So we do have our Kepler, our Lamia, and our Swell Slime. At the end of the day, these cards are the three cards that you need. Now you can switch out, I believe, the Lamia out of this and use the Wear Off Thou. And by doing so, you kind of just extend this combo as well. So if you do pull these three cards, it's absolutely fine as well. In terms of the percentages, you can actually get a kind of a 17.6% chance due to doing some multivariate hypergeometric calculations of actually pulling these three cards in your first starting hand. So by going first, you get that 17.6%, and going second, you get 31.2%. Now, obviously, that does vary in terms of Lady Luck, like she will bless you or otherwise. But when you up these cards to 4 cards, you can go as high as 45.6% chance going second, and going first you get a 24% chance. That's almost a 25% chance sort of thing to actually pull these three cards in your starting combo, or at least pull off the Calamities combo when going first. Now I find that pretty incredible because at the end of the day, if you are trying to calculate odds, you have a 1 in 4 chance to block your opponent out of doing absolutely anything on the field. So that's what I love about this deck. It's so versatile, it's just got such a big ability to actually do something. And because of that, that's why I kind of enjoy using it. Now, we are going to start off the combo nice and simple. You're going to normal summon your Savant Kepler, then you're going to draw a contract with the gate from your deck, and you're going to set it. Now, usually you wouldn't set it in the pendulum zone, just in case your opponent is able to negate you. So what we're going to do here is we're actually going to set it potentially in the middle, due to the fact that you do have the occasional player that decides to play a Mech Knight kind of deck, and they will be able to utilize this column more than anything to special summon their monsters, i.e. they create a nice link monster, they've then got your spell there, they can then summon their monster on said turn as well. So you've got to be careful about things like that. But anyway, once we've got our Kepler set up, once we've got our gate on the field, we're going to activate the effective gate. Now, because you don't take damage until later, it's going to be quite nice to just kind of rely on it. We will be getting it off the field before we do take damage in our standby phase, so that's not too bad. But once we've activated the effective gate, we're going to search for Copernicus. Now, Copernicus, again, is pretty essential to this deck, so you want to have him at 3. Once you've got Copernicus, you're just going to add him to your hands, keep him there for a little bit. We're then going to use Swell Slime and Lamia, and we're going to activate Swell Slime's effect, which allows you to fusion summon a DD monster from using DD Swell Slime and another DD card or triple D card from your hands. And we're going to go straight for a Flame King Genghis. Now, Flame King Genghis is pretty dope because at the end of the day, he just allows you to special summon a monster from the graveyard once another monster has been special summoned. So most of you can see where we're going from at this point. We're going to use the Swell Slime's effect from the graveyard, we're going to banish it, and what that's going to allow us to do is special summon Savant Copernicus from our hands. Now at this point, special summon in defense. If you end up special summoning in attack and you can't continue because you've been hand trapped, you now have 2 monsters that are stuck in attack mode with 0 defense. That is just not going to benefit you in any way. On the summon of Copernicus though, you're going to activate its effect and you're going to send 1 Necro Slime from your deck to the graveyard, and you're going to put it nicely in there. Now, also on the summon of your Savant Copernicus, you're going to chain Flame King Genghis, which is going to special summon your Lamia from the graveyard. Once again, special summon in defense. It doesn't make sense not to do so because you will put yourself at a disadvantage. Once you've got your Lamia on the field, you can now start your combo. So we're going to start with a Lamia and a Copernicus to the grave. to go for Samsara of Rebirth. Remember, Copernicus is a pendulum monster, so it's not actually going to go to the grave, it's going to go to the top of your extra deck. So we're just going to place it down here for now. After that's happened, we're going to activate Lamia's effect from the graveyard, allowing you to destroy one of your DD cards or Dark Contract cards from your hands or fields and send it to the graveyard. But we won't be able to use that on pendulum cards due to the fact they are pendulum cards and cannot be sent directly from the field to the graveyard unless they're exceeds material. So you can only really do it on the Gate or the Flame King Genghis. But as we're about to use the Flame King Genghis for another Synchro Summon for Shooter Riser Dragon, then we can't obviously send Flame King Genghis to the grave at that point. Now Lamia is going to actually get banished here, which is a bit of a shame, but on the summon of Shooting Riser Dragon, you're going to activate its effect, sending one Lamia from your deck to the graveyard, and minusing one level from Shooting Riser Dragon from level 7 to level 6. So not only that, the reason we do the Samsara before the Rising Dragon is because the Riser Dragon actually negates Lamia's effect. And obviously that sucks. If Lamia's effect is negated, we couldn't have sent Dark Contracts to the graveyard in the first place. So we gotta make sure we do it at that point as opposed to later. Cool, so after we've got that, we do have these cards in the grave right now. So we can use Necroslime's ability with Flame High King Genghis to banish both of those to special summon a Flame High King Genghis. And it can be pretty much anywhere, it really doesn't matter at this point. We're not really playing around with our link zones too much. So as long as he's special summoned to anywhere in the monster zone, not the extra monster zone, you are fine. At this point, we're then going to go for a Flame High King Genghis and Savant Kepler because they're both DD monsters. You're going to end up being able to create Gilgamesh. Now Gilgamesh, again, it would have been nice to have these two spots available, and you can obviously do so if you need to, but in my eyes I don't see it as such a big issue, just due to the fact that we only need to pendulum summon one monster. When this occurs anyway, you're going to take 1000 life points to set your pendulum scales with a Ragnarok and with a Rage. Now that's 0 to 5, which will allow us to summon either Kepler or Copernicus. This really depends on your playstyle. If you're thinking maybe next turn, hey, I want to get my contract back, you're going to want to save Kepler for later. But if you're thinking, hey, Copernicus, that's not a bad shout because I want to send something to the grave to use my materials in there, that's also not a bad shout either. Now, personally, I would get rid of your Copernicus because I like sending things to the grave, so we're going to keep that there for later, and we're going to pendulum summon the Kepler. Now at this point you can pendulum summon Kepler in defense position because it depends on whether you're going to actually react or do anything later. But at this point you're going to trigger your Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok's effect because it's your first turn, hopefully. It's then going to summon your Lamia to the field. Again, special summon in defense. I see a lot of people special summoning it in attack for absolutely no reason, making that mistake, and they get attacked for game next turn. At this point, you could leave your field like this. It's really not too big a deal. I tend to actually go for a Linkuriboh here, so that way we do have the option for later to actually summon back the Kepler. Say we've changed our mind as to what we want to do, then we can summon back Kepler for later. And actually, from what we're about to do, when we summon this Calamity, it's going to kind of be more of a necessity to get that Kepler on the field so that you can get a high attack monster so you can OTK your opponent. Now, Linkuriboh is a good choice to get Kepler in the grave because he does have the ability to interact with your opponent during the battle phase. So if they do already have a big monster on the field, maybe you want to go for a Linkuriboh to prevent at least that damage or bait them out for one of their attacks. But after that anyway, we're gonna go, okay, cool, I pass turn. And when you pass turn, you're going to immediately, during the main phase, use the effect of Shooting Riser Dragon. You're going to combine it with Samsara and Lamia. Now, because these all equal level 12 now, due to the fact that we minus 1 level from Shooting Riser Dragon, we have the possibility to make Calamity. Now, Calamity, you're going to either place it here, here, or here. It really doesn't matter. but obviously as it's your opponent's turn, your Gilgamesh effect isn't in place, so you now have the ability to have Calamity on the field, and you don't have to worry about, oh, you're stuck into special summoning DDDs. But once Calamity's on the field, your opponent cannot do anything. Like, at the end of the day, the most they can do is maybe set a monster. And this is what I love about Calamity and this combo in general. There is an Xyz kind of Calamity, Kali Yuga combo that I do want to show you guys, but it's not as powerful as this one. So during your turn, you obviously have the 4K attack, the 1.8 and the 300. Now that doesn't seem too crazy for me. So if you really wanted to, you could even go for something, let's say you don't want these guys on the field anymore, you're going to combine them together, and you're going to give yourself a cheeky little French Bardiche. That's an easy 2100 attack monster. You're then going to trigger his effect, send the guy to the grave, let me see. So you're going to send your tech piece to the grave, your silent boots, and you're going to add rank up magic launch to your hand. Now this isn't really that much of a necessity, but I mean, why not have it and set it on your field anyway? It is just that extra advantage that you could have for later if you do manage to get your Xyz out this turn. You realistically will not need it though. Then you can use your pendulum effect. Now because you've gotten rid of all your other monsters, you can summon both of these. You now have so many resources to utilize in your graveyard that you're basically set. If you wanted to bring back your Gilgamesh, go for it. If you want to bring back Hiking Genghis for a spell on Trap Negate, go for it. But if I'm perfectly honest, you'd be sending a Necro Slime from your deck to your grave, doing a bigger fusion summon, triggering the effect, then bringing out your Hiking Genghis that you already had, and then you can attack for game. So I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I really do hope that you are making your own combos. And please let me know in the comments if you've got any other ideas in future. Anyway, have a good day.